evening, this is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, 4 remanded for sentencing on Wednesday in roadwork scam. Government considers purpose-built buildings. And Fiji Airways services return to normal following disruptions. Bar businessman Feroz Jan Mohammed and former civil servants Ilyesa Turangadati, Navitalai Tamanito Kula and Aisea Liwaiono have been remanded in custody for sentencing by High Court Judge Justice Paul Madigan. The men have been convicted for charges related to circumventing procedures to obtain over $3 million in a roadwork project. Chanel Sivan reports.
The lawyers of the accused provided character witness statements and mitigation submissions to the judge to convince him to reduce the sentence to some extent. In front of a crowded courtroom, Mohammed's QC Ian Lloyd told the judge that his client is not in a position to pay a hefty fine if the judge considered fining him. QC Lloyd says Mohammed is in a negative financial crisis with his businesses running on debts. He says Mohammed was never wealthy as many would think and provided tax returns documents showing his salary. His salary was not revealed in court, however, in dilemma. Justice Madigan said the figures showed Mohammed was paid less than a court clerk. The judge said the figures were ridiculous. Second accused Ilyesa Turangadati's lawyer submitted that he is unemployed, was part of his village development program, and there was no evidence of accumulated wealth from the bribes he received. Third accused Navitalai Tamanito Kula's pastor said he was a faithful, soft-spoken and hard-working person and that his church needs a person like him. The fourth accused, Aisea Liwaiono's lawyer, submitted that a client has a medical condition and submitted the list of all the medication he took. She said her client's role in the offense was minimal, to which the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption prosecutor Rashmi Aslam said Liwaiono's involvement opened the floodgates to cause a $3 million loss. Justice Madigan will sentence the men on Wednesday morning at the Suva High Court. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
Former Deputy Director Public Prosecutions Office and current Director of the Public Prosecutions Office in Nauru, Wilisoni Kurisangila, has been killed in a road accident. Kurisangila was involved in the car crash in Nauru over the weekend. His body left Nauru yesterday, bound for burial in Fiji. Kurisangila is survived by his wife and 2 children. He previously worked at the DPP's office in Suva for a decade before moving to Nauru in 2009 to take up the appointment of Nauru's Director of Public Prosecutions. He is the son of the late and former Speaker of Parliament, Dr. Apinisa Kurisangila. The government is planning to have offices in buildings that are more conducive to the work environment, which would benefit the civil service. Interested investors and companies are being invited to send expressions of interest to design and construct purpose-built buildings for the government. Akosita Tale has more.
Some government offices are located in government-owned buildings, while others are in buildings leased by the government. Attorney General and Finance Minister Ayaz Sayed Qayyum says the government will save on capital outlay by entering into lease agreements for its office space.
The government's main business is to provide service. The government's main business is not to own buildings. So by getting somebody else to own the building and we simply leasing it, we save on our capital expenditure, but we're also getting a particular level of service delivery. And so it's being financially a lot more smarter.
Sayed Qayyum adds some ministries immediately require better buildings and better services.
We also find some of the ministries, for example, you'll find them dispersed, through different offices throughout Suva, for example, whereas they should be all housed in one building. It makes it a lot easier because sometimes you may deal with one department, then you have to go to one street, then you have to, catch a taxi to go another street. But if they're all housed in one building, then it makes it a lot easier for members of the public. It creates more efficiency for the civil servants too.
The first lot of purpose-built buildings are expected to be located in Suva, Nasinu and Lambasa. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Fiji Airways will be offering compensation to all of their affected passengers who were stranded over 4 days last week. The national carrier says the cause of the delays and subsequent flight cancellations was sick crew and mechanical problems on their planes. Watisoni Rakandroka with the story.
Fiji Airways is now in the process of contacting all of its affected passengers to offer compensation. In a statement today, the national carrier has explained the delays and subsequent cancellation of its flights. Fiji Airways Public Relations Manager Sain Hussein says last Thursday's Nadi to Brisbane flight was cancelled because of flight crew illness. The airline says all affected passengers were then notified and rescheduled to fly on the Nadi to Brisbane and Brisbane to Nadi flights the following day using the larger A330 aircraft. However, on Friday, when the flight reached Brisbane, the airline was alerted that the aircraft needed mechanical attention, which required a part to be flowing in from another city. Passengers who were connecting to Los Angeles were rerouted to fly direct, while some others were routed to Fiji via Sydney. Others were booked to travel the next day. However, the aircraft part arrived later than expected, which led to further delays. The aircraft finally left Brisbane for Fiji late Saturday. As for the Saturday Melbourne to Nadi flight, Hussein says the 14-hour delay was due to an ill pilot. As a result, subsequent Fiji Airways flight to Auckland, Sydney and Los Angeles on Saturday and Sunday were delayed. Flights have now normalized. Watisoni Rekonroka, FBC News.
A 25-year-old tour consultant of Nadi has been charged with 2 counts of unlawful wounding after she allegedly stabbed 2 people with a pair of scissors on Saturday. Saini Inga Keen is alleged to have stabbed her partner several times on her back. The victim has been admitted in the intensive care unit. Keen then allegedly stabbed another person who was also admitted in the Lautoka hospital. She was produced in the Nadi Magistrates Court this afternoon and has been remanded in custody. The case will be called for mention on July 6th. Coming up, public talks on the country's new development plans get underway.
If you just joined us on the System After Dark, this is a homegrown number courtesy of E3 and Cracker.
Bulla, how's it going? I'm D, your host on the System After Dark, right here on Today FM. Today's hit music. You can catch me weeknights at 7 p.m. That's from Monday to Friday, only on the home of Today's hit music. And don't forget, that's D with you every weeknight on the System After Dark.
Public consultations for the formulation of the country's 5-year and 20-year development plans got underway in the Central and Western Division today. FBC News visited one of the venues in Suva and saw discussions between the public and the Finance Ministry officials through the Department of Strategic Planning and National Development. The development plan will set out medium and long-term goals, strategies and programs for growth and sustainable development to benefit everyone. Attorney General Ayasaid Qayyum says the consultations are also open to small non-governmental organizations, including community groups. Members of the public are being encouraged to attend the consultations. More than 100 students marched through the main street of Suva today to commemorate International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. While the designated date is June 26th, organizers have planned a week-long event to raise awareness about the ill effects of illicit drugs and trafficking. Julie Vatiwaliwali with the story.
Students carry placards proclaiming their message clearly to the public: there is no place for illicit drugs. The march made its way from the flea market to the Centenary Church, where the General Secretary Dr. Epineri Vakandiavosa launched the event.
Cigarette smoking is no advantage to your body, not at all. This habit destroys your lungs in God's temple, causes all kinds of cancer and diseases, and decreases your lifespan, thus shortening the time you can serve God on this earth.
The focus of the week-long event is encouraging students to stay away from illicit drugs.
It means a lot to us as students, especially trying to eradicate and putting a stop to this.
If you're telling everyone that getting yourself involved in smoking, drugs, glue sniffing and all this is a way of relieving stress, well, it's a lie. Because if you do that, you actually add stress to yourself, to your family members and to people around you.
In the past, there have been reports of students sniffing glue and other illicit substance causing damage to their health. Julie Vatuwaliwali, FBC News.
Minister for Local Government Praveen Kumar Bala's case of causing death by dangerous driving has been deferred to next month after the state lawyer did not appear in the Lautoka Magistrates Court today. Bala's lawyer, Shalem Krishna, asked the court to acquit and discharge his client due to the state's absence. The DPP's office says their lawyer was attending to another matter in the High Court and the magistrate did not entertain a request to have the case stood down for 10 minutes. Bala is alleged to have caused the death of Puna Chand in a road accident near Tendamu in Lautoka in November 2013. He pleaded not guilty to the charge in March this year. The Mortibai Group is investing $3.5 million in a new Prouds outlet at the Port Moresby International Airport in Papua New Guinea. Ellen Stolz reports the company is partnering with PNG Cities Pharmacy Limited in the new venture.
Only 9 days remaining until the official opening of their first store in Papua New Guinea, and everything is on track.
We're quite optimistic. We see this as a challenge. The last 6 months we've had a strong team in both PNG and Fiji putting this project together. The design's been done out of New Zealand for the store. Fabrication has taken place in New Zealand, Fiji and the Philippines. So coordinating those 3 countries to deliver the store into PNG has been quite challenging, but it's something we're looking forward to.
The Prouds outlet will not only be an extension to the company's business in the region, but will also be an opportunity to showcase products from Fiji in Papua New Guinea.
I'm showcasing the local brands that we carry in Fiji, such as Pure Fiji, J Hunter, and then our existing brands that we've worked with over 40 years. I think those are the benefits that we've seen to take across PNG.
Patel says with the company's success and experience in the retail industry in Fiji, they're hoping this will also be the case in Port Moresby, as PNG is a good market. Ellen Stolz, FBC News.
And on that note, it's sports up next. Here's Jamie with the very latest.
Jackie, and good evening. Coming up in sports, we hear from Waisake Naholo and his inclusion in the All Black squad, and Wellington Phoenix name a strong side for Fiji tour. We'll have this and more after the break.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Boulevard. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Waisake Naholo's dream of donning the All Blacks jersey is slowly taking shape. The Highlanders wing was one of 5 new players named in the All Black squad yesterday. While Naholo was overwhelmed with his inclusion, the announcement for his father, Aparosa Naholo, brought back memories of the struggles they went through as a family. Rohit Deo has more.
We really went through a lot of sacrifice regarding of his departure and everything concerning his schoolwork out there.
First thing I did was I rang my parents back in Fiji, and we kind of talked about it. It was a lot of emotions, and yeah, it was overwhelming. I've never seen all that we've been through was part of how I'm going. It's a humble feeling. I'm excited and overwhelmed. I didn't have anything I could say, or I was out of.
The Maras Brothers High School under-18 side defeated Nasinu Secondary 24-17 in the 3rd round of the Southern Zone Rugby competition on Saturday. In the under-14 grade, Maras Brothers beat Suva Grammar 8-5, while Nasinu Secondary hammered Dudley 28-0. In the under-15 grade, Gospel High beat Lomeri 8-0. Maras defeated Nasinu Secondary 22-0, and Suva Grammar claimed the 7-5 victory over Ratu Sukuna Memorial. Maras also beat Ratu Sukuna 21-14 in the under-19 grade. The 4th round of the competition will be played this weekend. The 2015 Pacific Games will be vital for Fiji when it comes to international recognition. Assistant Minister for Youth and Sports, Ilyas Sandelana, reminded athletes at the General Assembly over the weekend that the Games is an opportunity to improve their rankings on the world stage.
The Pacific Games will be a vital event for some of you. as your success at the Games will determine your team's progress, rankings and qualification to the bigger international events and competitions. Therefore, you must only these Pacific Games as an important event. The onus is on you all to work together and ensure that we achieve the best results at the Games.
The Pacific Games will be held in Papua New Guinea from the 4th to the 18th of next month. The Lautoka Flames are targeting a spot in the final of the Mbula FM volleyball tournament this week. Winning the Vanua Challenge last year, the team knows to expect strong competition from pool play. Captain Teresia Vunimbola says the squad has been preparing well and they're determined of a strong finish.
Preparations have been going on well. Most of the girls are working, so we try and find time to get together and train. But we are preparing well for the Maris tournament this coming weekend.
Meanwhile, former Fiji rep Katerina Verevalu will feature for the team. The Mbula FM volleyball tournament will be played at the National Gymnasium this Friday and Saturday. The Nasinu football side played its first match of the Rewa Galaxy Youth League over the weekend. Despite losing 1-0 to Suva at the Fiji FA grounds in Vatuanga, the team was satisfied with its performance.
We had just 1 week of training. Most of the student players, they are students and they were having the examination. They did not turn up the training, but I think they have done well.
The Youth League continues this weekend. And that is your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Farmers will be able to access information about how to treat pests or diseases in crops using a mobile application on smartphones and tablets. Acting Director Research at the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Apatia Madanawai says the new app is called Pacific Pests and Pathogens. The app gives extension staff and farmers all the information they need to treat crops instantly, and if there is no way of saving the crop, the steps should help to prevent the problem from occurring in the future. There will also be shorter, less technical fact sheets for farmers less familiar with English. The application can be downloaded for free via Google App Store or Apple App Store. Farmers who don't have access to the internet can ask for assistance at the nearest agriculture office. Cloudy conditions were experienced over the group today. A trough of low pressure lies over the Solomons and extends eastwards over to Vanuatu to west of Fiji. Meanwhile, another trough of low pressure lies south of Nauru and extends over to Tuvalu, to Tokelau, to northern Cooks and to Tahiti. 30 was the maximum temperature reached in Lautoka and Savusavu today. The other centres were below 30. Forecast to midnight tomorrow for the Fiji group. Occasional showers over most places. Isolated heavy falls are expected. Showers easing and clearing from the west tomorrow. Moderate easterly winds turning and becoming southeasterly later tomorrow. Outlook for Wednesday, fine apart from brief showers over the southern and the interior of the larger islands, cool at night. And the main points again. 4 men have been convicted for charges related to circumventing procedures to obtain over $3 million in a roadwork project. Former Deputy Director Public Prosecutions Office and current Director of the Public Prosecutions Office in Nauru, Willisoni Kurisangila, has been killed in a road accident, and 25-year-old tour consultant of Nadi has been charged with 2 counts of unlawful wounding after she allegedly stabbed 2 people with a pair of scissors on Saturday. Now to our poll segment and the results from last week. We had asked, should fines for traffic offences be increased? 51% of those who responded said fines for traffic offences should not be increased. And here is this week's question. Are you satisfied with the services provided by municipal councils? Visit our FBC website, www.fbc.com.fj, to have your say. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Good night.